What's up YouTube, this is Sicksinz Gaming here, and today we're going to be checking out Onimusha's Warlords on the Switch. Enjoy! Now Onimusha Warlords, you play as a skilled samurai, Samanosuke Akechi. I probably butchered the name and I apologize, but it's pitted against the feudal lord Nobunaga Oda. Now, after Nobunaga is killed in battle, Samanosuke is called to the castle of his cousin, the Princess Yuki, who fears the demons related to the Oda clan are responsible for several disappearances. Now, Samanosuke and his assistant Kaede arrive at the castle just to find it under siege from the monsters, with many of Yuki's guards wiped out. It's then up to you as the samurai Samanosuke to find your way around the castle and rescue Yuki and find the source of the demonic power. Now, having set itself up for some sprawling conflict with its setup and subtitle like Warlords, Onimusha's quickly revealed itself as a much more intimate game. Pitched somewhere between survival horror and hack and slash action, Onimusha is essentially Resident Evil with samurai swords, pretty much. Now, it uses the same fixed angle and static backdrops that made the early Resident Evil games so effective, so it's retaining some of that game's smart use of the small but tangled single location, which, to be honest, I'm not really fond of it, so it took some time to get used to. Doors are locked with mysterious keys, puzzles are there to be solved, while any number of beasts may be lurking around in hidden corners, which it will get you from time to time just because due to the camera angle. Now, Samanosuke is fully equipped to deal with such threats, however, starting with a single sword, you later on will get upgrades, or I should say infuse it with electrical power before unlocking 2 more blades that does fire damage and wind damage, or well, per se it'll be fire and wind and elemental powers. But each sword, while they're not really different, have their own variety in power and speed. You are able to swap out at will, slashing away the monsters, unleashing powerful elemental attacks as well. Now, to power up your weapons, you absorb defeated demon souls through a magical gauntlet that's bequeathed to the samurai Samanosuke. Now, the combat is fairly basic stuff, pretty much. So choosing the most suitable weapon to hack away at demons and just making judicious use of your limited elemental powers, but has a certain crunch to be satisfying when you use it. Like, for me, my experience is when I use either the wind elemental or the fire elemental. The electric elemental, to be honest, it felt more like just flashy. It does damage, but I just prefer the fire elemental or the wind elemental because it does more damage, in my opinion anyway. Now, some quirks of the agent and the design of the game, it still holds it back, while updating the movement is a lot more fluid than the original tank controls from back in the day, because that's what I was nervous about when I actually bought this game. Not for nostalgic reasons, but I was a little concerned about the controls, which is it's better than the tank controls, but given the fact that you're still in a fixed camera angle, it's still cumbersome during fights. Now, you'll be able to lock on and dodge and blocking, but they're pretty, again, capricious, because you feel like you have so much control over so many abilities as you would like you're tamed, just because, again, and I'm repeating myself, it's really more or less the camera angles, the Cobra here. It does has its own charms though, souls must be absorbed manually through the gauntlet, which it does add a layer of some tactical thinking during fights, because if you don't absorb them while you're fighting your enemies, because sometimes they'll be there to harass you while you're trying to get the orbs, you do end up losing them. So you can actually pause to absorb the souls before they disappear. Either you get the XP boost for the red souls, or the white and the yellow, that souls that actually replenish the magic and the health as well. But the problem with that is it does leave you vulnerable for attack. Another issue is when you're down an enemy and there's multiple enemies there, if you end up doing a kill blow by stabbing them through the stomach or the back or whatever while they're on the floor, it does leave you vulnerable to an attack as well. It has happened to me many times, so I try not to do that, but sometimes it just can't be helped. Now, when it comes to death, it's really pretty much old school. What I mean by that is pretty much once you die, it will boot you back to the menu screen, and it's forcing you to reload one of your latest saves, which can only be made at a handful of these shrines that scatter throughout the whole game. So it's a twist. If you haven't played this game before, you would know better, but for any person new to the series, or just wanted to give it a shot, has never played it, maybe you weren't born yet, or maybe you were too young at the time to play, keep that in mind. Each shrine, please save. That's be your best friend. Otherwise, when you do die, you're pretty much screwed. If you ended up playing for an hour or two and didn't save, you'll be redoing all that stuff all over again. That being said, I wish Capcom could have introduced a more of a modern checkpoint system. Though removing that threat would certainly leave the game lacking, if you get my drift. So it has that, I guess, edge to it. So yes and no. I mean, it would have been better with the modern checkpoint system, don't get me wrong, but then again, this is only a 6-hour game. You probably fly through it that way, so you know, just save often, that's it. Now, a pet peeve of mine. Now, I don't like cutscenes, but the cutscenes in this game is so cheesy, so it's bad. And the worst thing about it is you cannot skip them, so they remain unskippable. So forcing you to sit through the rough cinematics multiple times if you're struggling with a boss. Keep that in mind, you can't skip it, so just please make sure you're on your A game or have lots of practice if anything. To be honest though, Onimusha is not really a difficult game, by default anyway. And it is short for 6 hours to play through. But again, like I said, the culprit, I'm sorry, for this here would be the camera angles. It gets me every time. When I was fighting a boss, I nearly got killed a couple of times just because while I'm moving one direction, it shifts its angle to another still image, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta switch up my direction again. So it's just be wary where you move. So I don't want to keep sounding like a negative Nancy, so there is a great deal to like about this game though. So you have Yuki's castle, this meticulously crafted maze that you grow to know as you move about the halls and solve its puzzles. Now while Onimusha can seem like basic 2-day standards, obviously, because this is, I forgot how many years old. If I remember correctly, it's like what, 15 years old, maybe 10 years old, I don't know, I'm probably wrong in terms of how old it is. But there is a lot of variety here. Occasionally you will swap to your assistant Kaede, for instance, who has a quicker, more athletic skill set, so she's quicker and more nimble. But this can only adjust pace, and the castle's oppressive atmosphere are the aspects of Onimusha, which that's why it was, enjoyed for the most part back in its glory days. It is ageless if you ask me, so I still actually had a great deal of fun out of this game. The only thing is I forgot how short the game was. So there are some issues that can be ignored, but for nostalgic sakes and an intriguing history lesson, Onimusha has a thorough, enjoyable story and gameplay, so it's more like a blast from the past, and thoroughly I did enjoy the game. So with this version, the HD Remaster, what's new in the Remaster, right? So here it is. So with this enhanced port of Onimusha Warlords, it's available right now digitally for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And as of right now, it's priced at $19.99. The visuals have had HD upgrade both in-game and cutscenes, while you can play the game in an original 4:3 ratio or 16:9 widescreen. There are also improved analog controls, which I was telling you guys about. It's not none of those tank controls anymore, thank God. Easy mode is available from the start this time around, while there's a new achievement system. There's about 56 honors for you to collect. And also Capcom has also a new recorded soundtrack. So basically this review is actually based off the Switch version, which I would recommend if you have that option. While on the Go is amazing, which I've been playing here and there while I'm on the train. And while I'm on Onimusha on the Go, it certainly does have its appeal. So what's my verdict for this? I'll give this game, honestly, I'll say a moderate 7 out of 10. Again, because of the issues that it has. It did have a visual upgrade, but it still has this glaring issues where it would be the fixed camera angle, which, it bothers me quite a bit. Let me see here, the unskippable cutscenes, the bad cutscenes with the voice acting. But other than that, for the most part, it's an enjoyable game. So what do you guys think? Have you guys bought the game? Have you played it? Have you tried it? Have you played it back in the day? Let me know in the comments below. If there's any other game you want me to review, let me know, and I try the best to get around to it. Other than that, Sicksinz out.